We understand this concept as pure consciousness, which permeates all being. This pure consciousness is, we believe, the ineffable source of creation and the origin of health and well-being. Our faith in sacred mushrooms stems from prehistoric use by our ancestors and personal experiences of our modern members. It is our belief that psilocybin-containing mushrooms are one of the greatest sacraments that nature offers, raising our awareness so that we can access a direct connection to the source of life. We should not be mistaken for a medical or therapeutic organization. We encourage anyone facing trauma recovery or mental health issues to work in conjunction with a psychiatrist, psychologist, or accredited therapist. Our objective is to help and support you in reconnecting with the universal source of healing, your own divine spirit. As we get ready to begin today's service, we ask that you mute your mics. We want to let you know this meeting is being recorded, which if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out privately. A portion of this service, we will invite you to journal. So now would be a good time to grab a notebook and pen if you'd like to participate in that. And please do, if possible for you, find a comfortable space where you can relax and be present for the service. The service portion of our gathering is around 30 minutes of silent participation on your part, during which time we will begin with a short meditation. We'll read the poem which the church has adopted as our acknowledgement of oneness with all that is, titled A Litany of Gratitude. We'll have a reading from our rotating text, along with an opportunity to journal your thoughts around the reading. We'll have a reading from our main text, the Tao Te Ching. After that, we will bring the official service to a close. From there, we'll move into an optional discussion period. We have allotted 90 minutes for this portion until noon, and do invite you to participate if you feel called. Welcome and thank you for joining our Sanctuary community in celebration. As we begin our statement of faith, we recognize this statement does not exhaust the full extent of our faith. We believe that sacred mushrooms are a primary source of personal and divine revelation. We seek counsel from the mushroom to find direction and inspiration in our faith practice. And we believe that all individuals who seek true revelation from divinity can do so. And with that, I'll turn it over to Courtney for our meditation this morning.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you for showing up today and all that you do, even when you don't feel great. Thank you, everybody, for being here as well. I invite you to join me in a short meditation. So if you're not already in a comfortable position, I invite you to get in as comfortable of a position as you can for the next 5-ish minutes. Make any adjustments in your position. You might give a big body stretch if you feel like it before sitting mindfully. And when you're feeling ready, you can close your eyes. I'm going to lead you through a yin meditation this morning, inspired by the hot day that's coming on. So let's take a few intentional breaths together, in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. One more time, in through your nose and out through your mouth. As we settle in over the next 5 minutes or so, I invite you to simply become more aware of what is in the moment. This is a mindfulness practice where we can just tune in to what's here. So, first, I invite you to feel your hands resting wherever they might be on your lap, or maybe they're touching, connecting with each other. I invite you to use your hands throughout the next remainder of the meditation as a perch of sorts that you can come back to when you feel yourself wandering away. And continuing to breathe just as you normally would. Let's set the gentle intention to remain receptive and kind towards our unfolding experience of mindfulness during this meditation and throughout service today. Inevitably, our attention will wander into thoughts, sounds, and feelings. And we can just simply notice this when it's happening and come back to our perch. Sensation of our hands being supported by our legs or supported by each other. Just continue to breathe, noticing what's here in whatever form that's coming up. Sensations may surprise you. They may feel a little uncomfortable. Maybe you're experiencing something pleasant. Whatever happens during this practice of mindfulness, during meditation and service, is perfectly just what it is. And we're open to experiencing it here together. Continue to breathe just as you normally would, utilizing your breath as an anchor, another perch of sorts to come back to when things drift off or feel a little hectic within us. We can practice compassion to our body and ourselves and each other by just simply feeling sensations that come up. Sometimes kindness and compassion in this practice means letting thoughts and sensations just continue to happen as a witness to the sensations. And other times it feels more kind to bring our attention back to our perch, our hands resting on our legs, or our breath, and the feeling of being breathed. It is up to each of us and our responsibility to feel out what feels right for us. Before we close out the meditation with a few intentional breaths, I'd like to invite us all to offer ourselves gratitude for showing up this morning, to our community at Sanctuary, gratitude for each other, for showing up and allowing the space to happen and unfold. With that, I invite you to take a few intentional breaths to close out in through your nose and out through your mouth, in through your nose And out through your mouth. Last time, in through your nose. And out through your mouth. Before opening your eyes, give some gentle wiggles to your fingers. Rotate your wrists and your shoulders. You might give a big body stretch so that we can gently come back into the space before opening our eyes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Courtney. All right. For subtle sacrament today, just wanted to make note for all of us that are participating in subtle sacrament, just take a moment for them to partake together if they would like to. Think good thoughts. Send loving vibes. All right, our litany of gratitude. Please feel free to unmute your mic and speak with me when I say we live in all things live in us. We live by the sun, we feel by the moon, we move by the stars. We live
in all things.
All things
live in us.
living in us.
We eat from the earth, we drink from the rain, we breathe of the air.
We live
Live in
in
all
things. And
all
things
things
live in
in
us.
us.
We call to each other, we listen to each other, our hearts deepen with love and compassion.
We
live
in
all
things.
things. And
all
all things live in us.
in us.
We depend on the trees and animals. We depend on the earth. Our minds open with wisdom and insight. We live
in all things.
And
all
things
Live in us.
We dedicate our practice to others. We include all forms of life. We celebrate the joy of living and dying. We live
in
all
things.
things.
And
all
things
things
live in us.
We are full of life. We are full of death. We are grateful for all beings and companions.
All things live in all things.
All things
All things live in us.
All right, Johan, can you do our first reading today?
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Secret Tradition of the Soul by Patrick Harpur, paraphrased. Those who are lucky enough to have found their purpose on earth know they have done so because they feel fulfilled. They may have found their purpose in some job or some person, a soulmate, but they are convinced that it is meant to be. Their lives are not necessarily free of suffering, but they are full of meaning. Those of us who are not so lucky, nevertheless, feel we should search for a purpose, as if for our own souls. It might be that the search itself is our purpose. The poet John Keats considers such questions too, suggesting that although people have sparks of divinity in them, they are not souls until they acquire an identity. Call the world, if you please, the veil of soul-making, he wrote. Then you will find use of the world. The question of our paradoxical condition, that we are born with souls, yet also, in another sense, must make them, is at the center of this book about the soul, its nature and destiny. Continued. This book is for people who are wondering what we consist of, what our essential nature is, and what happens when we die. It is for people skeptical of rationalist claims that the only reality is the one subject to narrow definitions. It is for those disenchanted with major religions, especially Christianity, for squabbling over liturgy or gender issues while neglecting the one thing all religions is founded on, the knowledge of the soul and its relationship with God. It is for those whose search has led them to Eastern philosophies, yet are downcast by an alien culture and foreign language. It is for those who are drawn to New Age, but find it at best abstract and at worst embarrassing. Our souls long for meaning and belief as much as they ever have, yet can find no nourishment in modern day offerings of philosophy and science. We are like starving people who have been given cookbooks for food, yet sustenance is close at hand, not from some outlandish belief system, but from a secret tradition within our own culture. It is subtle and elusive. It wants us to turn our whole worldview upside down, forbidding us to fall back on religious or scientific dogma and ideology. Instead, we are talking about a tradition of thinking, contemplation, of seeing, one that asks us to see through our own suppositions about the world, to dissolve our certainties, to read many levels into the world as if it were a great poem, and in changing our perception, to transform our lives.
All right, we'll take 5 minutes to reflect on this passage. What is your personal interpretation of the soul? Do you believe the soul acquires meaning from existence or gives it meaning? Explain your answer to the extent that you can. We have about 15 more seconds to wrap up. All right, I'm going to move on to the next reading. The paradoxical nature of life and its mysteries are best experienced through the ineffable space we find in our communion with the mushroom. For more than 2,000 years, the Tao Te Ching has provided guidance and instruction for exploring the paradox of existence. It is for this reason that we employ the Tao Te Ching as our primary sacred text and invite all to study it further as you delve deeper into the mystery of life. Kevin, can you read this section?
Yes, good morning. The Tao Te Ching, chapter 28. Know the masculine, keep to the feminine, and be the brook of the world. To be the brook of the world is to move constantly in the path of virtue without swerving from it, and to return again to infancy. Know the white, keep to the black, and be the pattern of the world. To be the pattern of the world is to move constantly in the path of virtue without erring a single step, and return again to the infinite. Know the glorious, keep to the lowly, and be the fountain of the world. To be the fountain of the world is to live the abundant life of virtue and to return again to primal simplicity. When primal simplicity diversifies, it becomes useful vessels, which in the hands of the sage become officers. Hence, a great tailor does little cutting. I love that one.
Thank you. All right, we have newly ordained ministers. Eric.
Hey, I'm realizing that I don't have that list in front of me. I don't believe it was given to me.
Oh, oops. All right, well, maybe we can celebrate that next week. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Well, congratulations, newly ordained ministers. Apologies for that. I have announcements, and let me get those pulled up real quick. So we are wishing everyone a joyful Pride Month. We welcome any person of any faith, ethnic background, and sexual orientation into our community and encourage our members to embrace a courageous exploration of self in order to discover one's divinity. Love is love. On June 20th, fellow member Brian will be leading an LGBTQ+ Pride Month sharing session via Zoom. Then this week we'll have 3 virtual workshops led by members for members only. Today at 1 o'clock, Posturelic with John. Monday at 7:30, we'll have Sacrament Stories with Julie. And Tuesday at 6:30, Internal Family Systems with Deborah. Those all times are in Eastern Time. You can find all upcoming member workshops in the members only virtual events calendar page in your member portal. If you are interested in leading a members only virtual workshop, please reach out for a link to our leadership application. And this Wednesday, June 7th, myself, ministers, and certified cultivators, Chris and Tristan, will be hosting an in-person beginners functional and medicinal mushroom grow class at Clifton Unitarian Universalists from 6 to 8. Stay tuned for more details on registering, coming soon via email. And mark your calendars for West Coast Sunday services led by Zoom on the first Sunday of each month, hosted at 10 a.m. Pacific time. If you're interested in assisting with these Sunday services, please reach out to info@psanctuary.org. We'll send good vibes for those that are going to do that today for the first time. And from June 14th through the 18th, Psanctuary will be hosting a mushroom theme camp at Playthink Family Festival at Terrapin Hill, Kentucky. We'll have an ongoing workshop and circle schedule of our own, including the history of psilocybin through history, spaceship to the moon meditation for kids, more than microdosing, family masses techniques, veterans and mushrooms, and so much more. All official Psanctuary members receive a discount on your tickets. You can find this discount in the member benefits section of your member portal, and we hope to see you there. And James, did you have anything for fundraising?
Hey everyone, there's a small thing that's sort of fun. So for Playthink, we're going to have more than just the usual kind of booth with a banner. We actually have a fairly significant space with our own kind of tent. And we thought it might really help the space if it had a little bit more decoration, a little bit more vibrancy, to be a welcoming place for the festival. Specifically, some fake plants could really kind of round it out a bit. We don't want real plants because we don't want to kill your plants, and it's likely the plants won't really survive the travel. But if anybody happens to have a large fake plant and cares to donate it, that would be amazing. Otherwise, we're looking at about a budget of $200 to grab some things for the tent. I would be thrilled if anybody felt called to donate a little bit through the website. Either way, thank you very, very much. And there'll be more opportunities in the future.
Thank you, James. And membership, Stephen.
Good morning, everybody. We have 4 new members this week to announce. We have Larry from Tennessee, Richard from Washington, Rochelle from Kentucky, and Tiara from Kentucky. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome. All right, and with that, we've come together with intentions of service to the land and all its inhabitants. It is in our hearts to go forth into the world with the collective consciousness. We encourage you to stay for continued fellowship and conversation around our readings today. For those unable to stay, we thank you for being with us. As we further our conversation, please remember that all perspectives are welcome as we search for the spiritual truth that unites us all. Much love.
So let's keep the recording going for the ordination.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Amy. Courtney sent me a screenshot of our newly ordained ministers. So I'm very happy to announce that we have 5 new ordained myself ministers coming through this week. You know, this itself seems maybe, small, like a drop in the bucket, but that bucket is filling up pretty quickly, you all, and we are overflowing. We have, our first West Coast Sunday service is happening today. You all hear all these new workshops and programs. We're fortunately now developing this arm to ambassador out into the LGBTQ plus community. We are growing, and the ministers are really, these individuals particularly will be cornerstones of our growth as we continue to message out, communicate to the public that we have the ability and the right to practice freely and safely with these mushrooms. So those of you who have gone through these early stages of the minister development, I cannot thank you enough for the foundation that it is laying. We have been talking a fair amount about how we really want to communicate this to the broader world. Your own sovereignty to practice in whatever way you feel is appropriate. And so you are all really shining examples of that and are helping to get this momentum going. I foresee in the future many ministers of Psanctuary who are practicing in their own unique way and sharing and spreading this message of unity and love. So I want to have a big shout out and massive respect to John Clark, Pastor John. He's been such an integral member of our community since he came in, and really appreciate your presence and everything that you bring to these workshops and just your energy, my friend. If you all haven't heard the podcast that we did with John, I invite you to go listen to that. It's titled "A Posture Monster is Born," and John has such an incredible story, and it's really an honor to be a part of your story, John. Yeshua Adonai, same with you, my friend. You've been such a wonderful member of this community. You've had such great questions and conversations in these minister trainings. Your service as a veteran and the communicating that you have done to the public for Psanctuary and psychedelics overall. our entire community is in a debt of gratitude to you. Sean Duvall, my good friend here in Louisville, it's been such a pleasure just continuing to get to know you and your family and seeing you as well come in and be a part of this community. Yeah, I think about, when we first met down there in Costa Rica, and I think we both had that kind of dance of suspicion. Who is this other mushroom man? And it's just been so wonderful to see us, to feel us connecting and feel like you are such a part of this community, and really appreciate particularly all of your assistance in the cultivation and bringing your years of experience as a cultivator into those conversations. Brett, I can't see the last name. Brett Carruthers. It's been a pleasure getting to know you as well. Very much appreciate your curiosity and your exploratory nature with the mushrooms and all of your adventures in cultivation and being a part of that. Margot Vesley, I don't know if I've seen you on this call yet, but you are one unique and beautiful individual, and we certainly love having you in our community as well. I'm so grateful for your ambassadorship. Margot is very regularly sharing Psanctuary content out on her social media. Margot's been on a couple podcasts and mentions Psanctuary and her role as a minister there. Margot is very active in the normal community, so been helping to, spread the message of cannabis and other psychedelics for a very long time, and it's really an honor to have you formally connected with Psanctuary and spreading that message out there. So really, you all, thank you so much. This is just the beginning, and I know that we can help exemplify to our entire country beyond these borders of our nation, this sovereignty, this right that we have to practice with this sacrament in any way that we choose, so long as it is safe, right? So thank you all so much. We're going to see a lot more growth in this area, I do believe, and really look forward to just how this all develops. Psanctuary, for you all that are new or kind of early here, this is a living, breathing organism of itself. This is something that we've set the ball in motion. We have a pretty solid code of ethics and operating guidelines, but it's you individuals that are breathing the life into this and giving it the personality that it has, which is such a beautiful thing, and it is such a very different thing than you're going to find particularly in the corporate psychedelic world. So all very exciting stuff. And again, this Sunday service happening on the West Coast is a really exciting development. James and I were talking last night about how we're at a certain point, we're going to see a rapid uptick in growth as people start to become aware, not just that we exist, but that we are a community of safe, conscientious, ethical, diverse, compassionate, wonderful people. So you all are that, and I'm so grateful to have you here.